Hey Sagittarius, how are you doing? We're coming through the energy of that lunar eclipse in the full moon of Taurus. But even in addition to that, middle 5 to 6 days of November are heavily useful times in the universe for scorpionic transformative experiences. So harsh changes, which can be even, the ultimate changes of death. 2 deaths I helped in particular for a week to 2 week period, right through this. And so we are basically just after the last day of that period. It's because I discovered that through overlapping the tropical season of Scorpio, well, of any sign, with the sidereal. Libra doesn't have an overlap because the sun lasts in Virgo for a month and a half, but but the same is true even in the middle of October. I found out that the middle 5 to 6 days in October are days of negotiations. So I went through my decks that I want to use for this read, and I've done splits, okay, just to get some immediate the first energies for you, Saggy. And I'll explain the decks as we go, but let's just see how this resonates. So we've got an 8 of Pentacles in reverse and the Morgan Greers. So something's not working, or you're stuck on a detail. You're stuck on which project possibly to put the 8 of the 8 effort into. But I would say if we're at an 8, we're leaning back to the 7, which is the transformative situation in your Pentacles. This is deep magic, okay? And for me, this is Capricorn 10th house energy. Others put it as Virgo, but for me, I line the numeric progression of the cards up with the number progression with the progression of the houses, because that to me serves the energy of what's going on in that house much better. It just makes more sense. So we'll get into the details of this situation, okay? And we'll get information about it from Susan Sheppard's Phoenix cards. Susan does work with these cards. Well, she did. She passed in this past April 19th from finally succumbing to many autoimmune problems in her life, but she leaves behind her 22-year-old daughter. And I'm sure that she stays close, and if she plans on coming back, because she does past life work. So but for me, her cards, and she was the first deck creator that I ever, my first deck was her Black Moon astrology cards deck. But here we have, I'm going to get into the description for this card so I can name it accurately for you. I should have done that before I started this video, but I forgot. If you don't want to consider past life energies, then consider ancestral and geographically cultural influences. Yes, people speaking to you from these people. Yes, okay, which I think is right up your alley, Sagittarius. And I do believe somebody else's ancestor has been trying to work with you. Leo's ancestors came through in Leo's reading big time, with a heavy reminder. Here I have Wild Kuan Yin, Alana Fairchild's Wild Kuan Yin deck. So we'll get into the energy of this card. This is a Chinese painter who paints scenes primarily of Tibet. So a lot of Tibet scenes in this deck, but right now I'm thinking this looks more Chinese to me. Engracia's Divine Doors. We'll get 3 of those. We're going to start with this one because that's what it's split to. This is Mel Brown's Aboriginal Spirit deck. Mel Brown is a healer, an Aboriginal healer in Australia. I'm sure she doesn't call it Australia. And the neat thing, one of the wonderful things about well, not many, there are several Aboriginal astrologies, yes? I think more than one of them navigate by the dark spaces of the sky in between the stars, and that always made so much sense to me as well. So she channels messages from her ancestors as well as, clearly God, but very strong medicine in this deck. Got the Lenormand out with the blessing of the child, or the child energy. Okay, very innocent energy here, but we also have, interestingly enough, the Knight of Swords. And we have a 4, a 13, which could be a Lilith cycle. It could be a lunar cycle there. Things happen in every 13 years according to your polarities and magnetisms, okay? But we do have a 4 of stability there. But we have this fast-moving night, which is very interesting contrast to this blessing. The night bringing the blessing or interfering with the blessing, we'll find out. For me, this would be Libra energy, okay? Because it would be the 5, 6, 7 of swords for me, as opposed to others would put it as Aquarius energy, right? So whichever of those speaks to you. And then this deck is, I work a lot with animals, sort of on the side through my, it's a byproduct of my cleaning business, and I have 3 parrots in my life. I've had this deck for years and years and years, and finally all the animals in my life spoke to me saying, yeah, no, there's a reason you had this deck, and it's for animal energy. So it's a little, I use it as a little animal energy oracle, spirit guide oracle. And here we have in the upright, what's very interesting is contrasting the 3 of coins in the upright with the 8 of coins in reverse. If it makes any sense, Aries I struggled with, and I'm an Aries sun and Chiron, and I struggled tremendously second-guessing. I was in a very much second-guessing energy when setting up Aries cards, so that even when we got into the read, I still did further card pulls just to just to get certainty, and that was the energy of that I was dealing with. And in Leo's read, I got very tight chested, and there was trouble breathing, and there was heavy emphasis on the throat chakra. So if that speaks to it all, but we don't have the same, we do have blue on the table here. Yes, we do have the blue to white color scheme happening here, but it is countered with a fair bit of gold. So there's more of a mixed energy here, I feel. But I know my voice sounds tight, and I'm sorry about that, but it has something to do with the energy of this. So let's get into it. I'm going to set these cards up. I'll get the name of this one for sure before we get into it, before I get into the tarot. And actually, just let me get that. I've got the book right next to me now. I have the book right next to me now. Oh yeah, what number is it? Oh, it's a 2. Okay, and right underneath it we have the Roman hand. So this is a lot of power in this card. Something can go wrong quickly if there's anything in your life that is overwhelming at all right now. I believe I got that card for Libra. So that's echoing this Knight of Swords. So that could be an underlying energy, in which case you want to steer carefully, both hands on the wheel. This is a Prairie Plains medicine wheel, and I should have never forgotten that because I live on the prairie. So I'm just going to get, I want to see if she's telling me, oh, there are a lot of tribes, but she's not naming any in particular, which is interesting because she's part First Nations. Okay, here we go. I just had to flip the page over. Arapaho, Arikara, Apache, Assiniboine, Blackfoot, Cree, Comanche, Cheyenne, Caddo, Crow, Flathead, Hidatsa, Kiowa, Kansa, Osage, Omaha, Oto, Iowa, Paiute, Sarsi, Wichita, Mandan, Ute, and Sioux. Right, I was going to say, among the Sioux, Nakota, Dakota, and Lakota dialects. Lakota tribal divisions are the Sans Arc, the Brule, the Two Kettle, the Miniconju, the Oglala, and the Unkpapa. So we're talking about Sitting Bull, Crazy Horse, Gull, Two Moon, and Red Cloud. I actually would go to Crazy Horses. They're trying to carve Crazy Horse into a rock for many decades now, near Mount Rushmore. Not that Mount Rushmore, well, it's a testament to what was done, isn't it? But yeah, so Crazy Horse. However, Sitting Bull was, I do believe, bought and paid for. Okay, but yes, so it's a medicine wheel. So we'll get into that. And so if you're thinking, Actually, I haven't. It's been a while. I don't know if I've read what she does. She does a planetary layout: Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus. I don't know why she leaves Mars out, but she does. Saturn, Uranus, and Pluto. And so she's written up paragraphs for each of her cards in all of those positions. So when we get to the end, we're going to read all those descriptions so you have a sense of which one resonates the most, or which ones resonate the most. Okay, so I'm going to break, pause, and set up. Okay, so wow, they're really being efficient with me right now. So that means something as well. Right underneath, right underneath this 8 reversed is the Empress, okay? So I'll keep her over here on the table. And, oh, interesting, over here, I might keep that as, geez, okay, they're really, okay, I'm gonna not totally overwhelm myself, because what's happening is underneath the blessing was the loyal friend, the dog, and this has been a very strong card in 2 other readings, and I just helped a dog pass. So there's possibly a dog in your life, okay, that really matters right now. We do have, with that dog, we have the, what is it, 10 of Cups, right, and an 18, which gives us a 9, proving yourself to everyone. But the 10 of Cups, heavy Pisces, 12th house energy for me there. So very much about, blue for me is all about connecting with spirit guides. I know that purple is typically with that chakra, but for me, all my spirit guides communicate to me through a particular color of blue, or even, and therefore, if other blues show up around it, then there's an echo, yeah? But right underneath the dog and this blessing were these clouds reversed. So I kept the clouds reversed as well because it seemed like I should. I don't typically take too many cards in sequence, but I'm also open to whatever is being told. You know, I don't actually hear instructions. I don't see anything either. I'm not able to visualize. But we have the King of Wands. We have a King of Wands in reverse with a 6. So that gift, we have a gift there in the 6, okay? But troubled times are over. So it's interesting that that affects the King of Wands in reverse. So we'll find out exactly how this all works together. But so underneath the 3 of Pentacles, though, we had the Ace of Pentacles and the Queen of Pentacles all in the upright. Okay? I'll just double check that Ace. Oh, interesting. The Ace is actually in reverse. Okay, so I felt like obviously that was a story that needs to be told as well. Okay. So we have a Queen of Pentacles in the upright, but we have a Queen of Wands in reverse, and we have a King of Wands in reverse. Because this Queen is echoing this King is why I want to keep this Queen, but she's over here with this Empress, okay? So let's figure that out. I'm going to put this card up here. We'll read it later, okay? Let's start off with this door. We'll read our doors first. Let's get 2 more, though. And for me, Sagittarius, okay. For me, Sagittarius, King and Queen of Wands energy is you. It is 9th house. So mastermind thinking. But mastermind in the area of what the main trouble is that you want to do in the world, right? Your main motivations that are personal. Your flame. Okay. Lots of brown. Lots of earthiness. Lots of earth. No wonder if we're deep in the ground. Yes, we're heavy into Capricorn energy. We're heavy into 10th house energy. All right. Reputation and career. So let's see what these cards want to say. I feel like a no-nonsense energy. Forgive and forget. As soon as I say no nonsense. A ritual cleansing of pain and lies. Arise and awaken. See a new sunrise. Well, we've got a very lunar motif, but it could also be the sun motif. Yes? Sunrise or sunset? Emphasis on sunrise, not what's going, but what's coming. Okay, so we'll figure that out. Now there's something like a swastika pattern carved into this door, right? Scalloped and curlicue. There's also Islamic, well, I call it Islamic tessellation because mostly I've learned about all my tessellation drawing work through Islamic design. Palmistry. Okay, so deep magic. Yes. Fortune and tarot, collective destiny. Okay, so collective destiny, yes, bigger than you. The palm lines from birth tell your sacred palmistry. Listen to the notes of intuition, which for me, oh, sorry about my hand casting the shadow there. Intuition is a non-word. It's a word that shouldn't exist. Because intuition means to know something without knowing how you know it. Well, but we can know how we know a thing. We just have to be honest about psychic knowledge. Otherwise, it's our brain that did the work and pulled information together and came up with a concept, you know, worked with a concept. But concepts get delivered to us without words, or delivered to us, or we create concepts based on what we know, or they come to us psychically, and then we have to find the shape of them, because the shape of them exists in our mind, but our mind has to like find the shape of the concept, because it doesn't necessarily come in image or in words, just a knowing, right? Okay, but again, it's one of the two things. Your mind's at work, or and work, you know, doing its thing, its imaginative problem solving thing that it's created to do, or yeah, somebody's telling you something psychically. So we can be specific. That's where I feel the no nonsense. Let's be specific. Okay. And that's what we're needing to do with that Eight of Pentacles in reverse. So you're not going to thank me if I'm not specific. And what was this door? Right. This carries something of a Three of Pentacles energy to it, doesn't it? Even though it doesn't have the try, it has. But the whole idea of the institution and the work, like freedom flows. Don't hold yourself back from worldly freedom. Dream grand things for divine sacred reason. But this is like building something huge. This is the work that goes into this, the architecture that goes into this, the detail work. It's the doing of it that's complex. I mean, they needed to get the building design correct, but they've designed buildings like this 1,000 times. So we're not. No, you can take the engineering for granted, but it's the decorative work that needs to be wrestled with, and so time has to be allowed. You can't get this work done quickly, right? So these grand things are not, the concept might have been fast to come and fast to sort out, but the delivery is complex. Right, so we'll see where those fit. I really feel like that goes right there. But so does this. I mean, it's all, this is deep. Pentacles is deep, deep magic. Deep, deep magic, but we're going to have to figure out, does this belong over here? Is that where that belongs? Probably. The forgive and forget, possibly. Well, I'm going to put it there for now. I'm going to put it there for now, and we'll figure out where the magic work, it might actually belong right here. So let's just put this over here for a second in case I need. Now when I get, I'm just going to breathe into these cards a bit, but when the tarot cards fall, it matters what direction they land in. I've learned from, I believe, well, what I've learned from geomancy, I've learned from Ethiopian sources. And so they work not with cards, but objects, and the direction that, you know, it's all about what directions the objects land in. And that gives me aspects energy, as in astrological aspects, and energy directives, right? I'm reading as much from that as anything else. Okay, so sliding onto the table. Six of Wands, Leo energy. It's not squaring off. It's either, it's in progress. This gift, yes, of acknowledgement, this gift of affirmation that you are absolutely doing what you're supposed to be doing. So that'll be through praise and acknowledgement. For me, this is Knight of Wands energy, so betting on yourself. The job of betting on yourself. So this if we're headed back towards this transformation, we've been through a transformation though. You are in the 8, you're not in the 7. But we're looking back at this transformation, possibly second guessing because of the workload. Now but how does this affect the Justice? These two cards are going to pull it all together. In the deck. Because it's in my hand, I'm going to take it as a full reverse. In the same direction, I'm going to move this guy over because it keeps the aspect the same. But this is in the same direction. Okay, so that's okay. The detail work. But this is actually a commercial card. This isn't actually necessarily two different people from two different walks of life. It doesn't have to be romantic. The caduceus that's normally in this card is actually a symbol of commerce, not of healing. And every medical company that uses it knows that. Also, the single snake around the rod of Asclepius, is a whitewashing of the healing powers of the African prophetesses who were the true Delphi oracles. So Asclepius, it becomes this Greek healer in his cave, his magic cave, this magic healer. And sort of like, the idea of Moses. I forgot to restart for this session, so the camera cut out on me, which I've largely managed to avoid anymore. Okay, sorry. So yes, the African prophetesses. So point being that in here, this is often, because it typically has that caduceus in it, when they originally did these cards, designed them, they were communicating a commercial aspect. Whether or not they were upfront about admitting that, there are many things about the tarot cards that you'd actually have to dig through and understand how to read between the lines with these guys. Yes, okay, the Great White Brotherhood, in order to figure out what they're actually telling you through the cards and how they're manipulating. So there is a commercial aspect to this. So what I'm saying is this could be a relationship where we could be focusing on a financial aspect to this, right? This might not just be a romantic relationship. But it could be. It's Cancerian. It's Cancer's house. But then again, we're looking at Cancer's house is all about balance. That's 4th house, so that's root work. It could be about your psychic connections, your connections to your guides, and what your spirit guides have to say about your career. Because this dog is reminding me, right? And the 10 cups, okay? Full psychic guidance, full spirit guide communication. So there could be something that's this is down. These are struggling because of that connection, possibly. Okay. Nice. It's you again. You are stuck. This is squaring off. Okay. See how this is straight across. And when they say it, use it as cross energy in a read, yes? So it's crossing off, but it's squaring off. In your astrological chart, when you have a square, when two planets are at a 90-degree angle to each other, it means that there's friction between them, which is good, because it means that that keeps things moving, right? That's an effect on you that keeps you in progress rather than being stuck. And so now this Nine of Wands, it's interesting because this is the card of the first spirit guide that spoke to me through cards. This is her card. If you go to thecardsoflife.com, not cardsoflife.com, that's a whole other website, but thecardsoflife.com. It might be .org, but anyway, it starts with V. And you can get a slightly different spin on your life numerologically, according to those. But very effective as well, because you can play with numerology in many ways, and there's more than one numerology. But this is the birthday of this person. There's a list of people that are potentially, and I know from message. Okay, so point being, that triggers me to think that this could be someone, this could be your spirit guide. It could be you, but it could also be, because it is your energy, it's 10th house. The wounded warrior, yes, but the 9 of proving yourself to everyone. A 9 is, it's near completion, yes. And there's so much work, and you've come so far. But it's pushing against this, it's creating friction here. These are creating friction together. This is all working together. This is all working together. So whoever's in this with you, they're in it with you. Okay? That's why the King in reverse and the Queen in reverse. You're in this, somebody's in this with you. We have the Empress echoed with the Queen of Pentacles, the Queen of Coins. The troubled times are over. The blessing is coming. This blessing, and it's coming in quickly with the Knight of Swords. So there's justice. So this squaring off, this friction that you're in, is bringing in these 6 wands. Anything else? And that Ace of Pentacles, because the 3 of Pentacles is in the upright. Hit the floor. Yeah. What did I just hit? Okay. Calamities. Yes. Hit the floor this way. Crossing. Okay, so I have an opposition here. Nice. So when you have 2 planets in your chart, I'm not saying these are 2 planets. I'm not saying, but in terms of how I am reading, okay? And see how they're toe-to-toe? These cards are toe-to-toe. So they're absolutely in opposition. They're not head-to-head, they're toe-to-toe. But then I could put it this way, yes? And then they'd be head-to-head. Right? So, same difference insofar as what we need to get into in the time that we have. Unless something resonates. But either way, head-to-head, toe-to-toe. When planets are in opposition to each other, they have to succeed together. Whatever their issues are, whatever the houses are that they're in, those are going to progress together in your life, okay? At the same speed. Relative to each other. Maybe not always at the same time, but whatever happens over here to this planet is going to be balanced out by what happens with this planet. The influence on you, more to the point, right? The planets, how they influence you. There's cycles, okay? So like a Mars cycle is every 2 years. A Mercury cycle is every sort of 3.33 years, okay? Venus cycle, there are basically 5 cycles of 8. Venus traces a 5-petal rose around Earth in her orbit. So she's got a 8-year cycle to complete an orbit, okay, to complete that 5 petal rose. So you're looking at patterns of 5 years, 5s and 8s, okay? And so if you combine that and you get like age 40, right? Okay, so something really starts to happen, something becomes complete by age 40. But lunar cycles every 4 years, okay? Lilith cycles, like I was saying. So if 13, if we've got a 13 cycle here, so 26, etc., right? Okay, so polarities and magnetisms, that's what Lilith is about, that lunar energy. But what really works and what doesn't, and that could be totally echoed in this 2 of Cups reverse, okay? So this 5, again, we have Leo, the 5 that leads to the 6. So these need to succeed together. This training, shall we say, they're sparring, necessary change, so development, okay? This development of your skills and, you know, becoming master is needing to succeed in tandem with, so this part of this development of your fire, what you're doing in the world that's uniquely you, okay, and really stepping into it, and all the, you know, how you find your place amongst others, yes, has to succeed, interestingly enough, in a layer. So your 5th and your 9th, okay, are working together. So proving yourself to everyone and training at the same time, okay? It's working. So that's what's going on in your life. It's really interesting that I mean, I've got the Empress over here, and that's the first time Major Arcana has shown up in a read for a while now. Everybody's going through a very personal process that they have to wrestle through themselves. Got a lot of palms in this card. So I want to say, yeah, I'm going to put that right there, because I'm looking at hands and we've got the palmistry right here. So the tarot and the palmistry. So this magic we're talking about, and again, dealing, you know, honing your skills on this psychic level. Very much a threat to many bad energies, and getting smart about evil, but you probably already are. Okay, let's get into this card. Okay, let's do that. Okay, so we have illusion, but we have all of that detail work of that whole spectrum, yes, of all the gray areas. Okay, we have more than one person communicating to you, because I've got more than one kind of blue. So the problem might be, now Mel's descriptions are always not like you would expect. Okay, so I love that she gives me a word and I'll think one thing about it, and then I go and read what she has to say about it, and it's like, okay, totally took that down an alley that I did not expect. But if just looking at the card, gray aliens, no, but you can see different parts of the mind even, right? Neurons, different pockets of perception, yes. Like we can only see in 2 dimensions. It's our mind that creates the 3rd dimension, right? Our eyes can only see 2 dimensions. They record flat images, okay, and communicate flat images to our mind, and that's why people have depth perception problems. I know this from Margaret Livingston in Art and Vision, The Biology of Seeing. Margaret Livingston, but yes, her book's been in my world for many years now, because I teach drawing. Illusions. Illusions are truth in different variations. The truth of a situation may not be your truth, but it is the truth for someone else. And this is what creates illusions. For things may not be what they seem, only what you understand them to be. Our illusions are not negative, provided you understand others may have different illusions. Therefore, everything can be subjective. No matter how clear something is for you, others may view it differently. Their views are based on their understanding, capital U, right, of the situation and the perceptions, capital P, that they hold, right? So absolutes that they're still fairly certain of. Neither's wrong or right. It's simply your truth. Okay, so how you're going to approach this. You may be thinking you're being deceived by a loved one or someone close to you. You're feeling like you're powerless in this matter. Jealousy and anger are tying you up in knots. Look closely at the situation as it is illusion. Look closely at who is actually pulling the strings. What was I saying about getting smart about evil? There's possibly a third person involved in this situation you have not considered. This third person may be the puppet master. And typically for me, that's the great architect. But yes, before assuming the worst, take some time to think the situation through and talk openly and honestly with others involved. Together you'll sort through these issues and resolve the matter that's been affecting your relationship. When this matter's brought into the open, the third person will cease to have the power they once did. The problem will simply disappear. So the question is this a problem between you in the physical world with somebody else or you with your guides? Many things here are pointing to me that it is between you, and it might not be. It might not be. We do have King and Queen of Wands both. But whoever this person is, whoever these people are that's in this with you, there's one other person in particular. The dog is a loyal friend. And the Lenormand up there. The blessing, the child. So there could be a child involved. There could be a loyal friend involved. The clouds have passed. Okay, so however that speaks. But in case because the thing is that there could be a relationship situation that is actually being used, manipulated against you by the devil, by demons, okay, to interfere with your ability to see, to communicate clearly, or to know who to talk to spiritually. That could be a thing as well. And if you clear up those relationships, then it starts to clear up this other relationship. So now we'll find out which track I'm on, because we've got such an emphasis on deep magic here, and we're so far progressed into a situation that it seems to me likely that your work would be under attack. Okay, we've got an 8, we've got a 9, we've got this 5, we've got this 6 coming through, and it just feels like you'd be very much under heavy attack. And so would any people attached to you that are close to you in your life. And unless everybody is super trained in how to deal with that and recognize it and work against it, then everybody's kind of a sitting duck. But it's basically crunch time. I do feel that. I've had a few, I'm working with the candles that I still have. I have to go out and get more candles. Okay, so I know that I'm running down on resources, and that's part of the message. It's not because I can't get more candles, it's because I haven't, I'm trying to get this done within a schedule. Okay, so let's get into what Susan's channeled for this, okay, and find out. This is her book, okay, Phoenix cards, and so we have that 11, we have that 2, okay, and this is, she does a lot of work to give you, I won't get into all of this, but she does a lot of background work for context, okay, into what to get. So there's this there's not, well, there's a comprehensive education in the book about, not about opinion and, you know, law of attraction, but about the origins of this card and this energy and these people, right? And then what she does, I'm just flipping back to the back of the book. Here's the layout that she came up with. Oh, and I just dipped the book in the candle. Awesome. Okay. And I've worked with this layout, and it's awesome. And maybe at some point I'll do it in a reading. Okay. But so now we'll read for this card in all of those positions. Using my shorthand of, in the sun position, the sun for me are your instincts and triggers. So that will be the context for this card in the sun position. What's triggering you and what are what are you able to do without thinking too hard? Okay, starting right with your holding back. Your tendency is to seclude yourself at the expense of actualizing your hopes and dreams. Your tendency is to seclude yourself at the expense of actualizing your hopes and dreams. That's a big sentence. You'd rather cut yourself off from everything instead of finalizing and delivering. Well, if that's not that Eight of Pentacles in reverse, damn, she's not holding back, is she? Okay. Yet you're generating a great deal of charisma at this time. People are not only noticing you, they're paying close attention. This is the perfect time to begin a new quest, especially one that's spiritual in nature. What was I saying? One thing's covering up another thing. The medicine wheel in this position is a sign of maturity and indicates you're coming to understand what your life's all about. Your fears of failure or rejection are unfounded. Immerse yourself. They'd be irrelevant. Doesn't matter. What's the truth? Immerse yourself in the flow. Success awaits you. Well, everything would await because it just doesn't matter. Does it? There's only one option. If you've been holding yourself back, now that might not resonate. Ooh, resume. Okay. In the moon position, which for me is your conscience, what your default position is, even if it takes you forever to get to it, to work your way through to it, it's what you're going to do. The moon position reveals that the psyche seems to be working at cross purposes. Oh my goodness, yes. But that's okay. You need others, but there's a refusal to reach out and ask for help. The soul radiates a need for seclusion and solitude. Others view you as aloof or moody. This card choice indicates a strong need to assert your individuality. Yeah. Just to get on with it. Okay. In the Mercury position, which is your mind and imagination, which is what we're all about in this read, I do believe. Your thinking is especially powerful at present. Yes. Make or break. But it's important to maintain some objectivity. Okay. It's difficult for you to see. Yes, what did I say about no nonsense? Right? Get specific and no nonsense. I was carrying, yeah. Difficult for you to see outside the deeply private inner world you've worked so hard to create. Your viewpoint may not apply to others. You're poised on the edge of the circle when you should be standing at the center. Assume your role as a wakasa, or holy, mysterious person. Thank you. Okay. Sagittarius. Yeah, yes, hedging your bets so that you can take off and do the Sagittarius thing. I've got strong Sagittarius. Okay. Yes. If you're at the center, it's that much harder to get to the exit. One foot in and one foot out. Whew, in the Venus position. And we got Venus on the table. So I'm assuming that the main message is going to come through this part. Okay. You currently feel a lack of response in relationships. Partners have become distant and moody, but so have you. There's no doubt you're receptive and sensitive, but you're having difficulty opening up. Part of this stems from your belief that no one can truly understand your complicated feelings and thoughts. Yeah, I just finished telling somebody that last night. This is not true. But the problem was I can't cope with trying to help them understand at the same time as doing the work. Because it's so heavy for so long. You must learn how to express your emotions as well as you can. Yep, and that's what I ended up saying. You will soon discover a spiritual connection with another person. Well, there's that Two of Cups. Okay. The medicine wheel in the Venus position signifies you share a powerful karmic bond with an important friend or lover who spent a past life without you among the Plains Indians. So which lover or friend is it? It's the moody, quiet one. Just to get a little specific there. Now, whether that person is in your life in the physical or as the spirit guide. Fuck. The work I did yesterday as a Scorpio on a soul retrieval for my partner, who ended up telling me it's taking years, but he sees the caribou as a spirit animal. And a friend of his from North Bay, Ontario, had made him a headdress a few years ago. He's in Ireland. My partner's in Ireland, and he looks like an idiot to put it on, and everybody would be pissing on him over here for doing that. But she is First Nation. She made it for him. It's an authentic one. It's from North Bay, and the caribou, one of their main historical storylines, comes from an area around Manitoulin Island, which is just miles away from North Bay. We're not quite in Plains territory there at all. We're Canadian, well, Canadian Shield isn't the right word because Canada is an occupier's word. But, yeah, okay, this is, yes, oh, well done, Venus. And it ties into a very personal part of my story. And I do live on the plains. Okay. I don't normally resonate with Sagittarius because it's too close to my Scorpio. But it is in one of my first houses. Not whole, but in Regiomontanus, Venezuela. And my second house. I'm working on my second house right now in my astrology workbook. And that's completely in Sagittarius. Okay. Good. Not to take over this reading, but just to affirm and to dig into what I can add to this if it's at all helpful for insights. So now we're going to go to the Saturn position, which would be your fears, boundaries, calculated risks. There's a sensation of being squelched and held back at this time. You may be afraid to allow others to see the true person you are. It seems that people always misjudge you. This creates a feeling that you'll never be understood and that it's all hopeless. Learn to share your dreams and visions. Headstrong attitudes can only limit your success in being accepted. Yes, okay, so it's how you're going to come at communicating yourself. You're going to be very cunning. This is me talking, right? You're going to be cunning. You're not going to give people such an easy way to dismiss. You're going to come around from the back door, so to speak. Oh, don't let me go down that road. Okay. Speaking of Uranus position. Sorry, I didn't. That just happened. Okay. This would be your areas of nonconformity and your back door. You're a gentle, sometimes lonely seeker who would rather not impose your beliefs on others. Because of this, others often find a reason to impose upon you. Yes. Sagittarius always understands everybody else's point of view. And then Sagittarius has an opinion based on having listened to everybody else and be very comprehensive in their research of the human experience. Yes, that's what you are. And you're very adaptive. You are the, you're the mindful, soulful chameleon who's like, yes, I can be this to this person and this to this person. And I can have all kinds of friends that would hate each other, but they like me because they think I agree with them. You can't, they don't get it. They don't see it. They don't see that no matter. Oh, this is, my sales position for I'm so big into customer service. Oh, fuck. Okay. This causes, yes. So they impose on you. This causes resentment and you will quietly rebel. Your friends sometimes react to your rebellion with bitterness, yes, and shock because they've gotten used to controlling you. Try to be upfront with your associates and let them know from the beginning that you're not about to be controlled. This card choice signifies a past life spent as a person of special authority among certain Western Indian tribes. Others sense the wisdom you've gleaned from the past and find you magnetic. What did I say about that Cycles 13 and the Lilith, the magnetisms and the polarities? Whew. I'm gonna have to, I gotta go after this, but I gotta lie down. But I can't. Okay. Pluto position, Scorpio position, hidden powers, the deep fire, the magma. Past insecurities may compel you to try to control the behavior or interactions of others. It's difficult to let go of the control over yourself and other people because you fear that things may go to hell in a handbasket. Although you appear outwardly peaceful and are somewhat of a loner, you want to be in command. Life seems safer to you that way. You have great charisma and leadership potential. You quietly dominate, maybe not so quietly, dominate any... It cut me off. Where did it cut me off? Let's see. Although you appear outwardly peaceful and are somewhat of a loner, you want to be in command. Life seems safer to you that way. You have great charisma and leadership potential. You quietly dominate any situation with your inherent mesmerizing power. Muster the courage and allow life to flow outward without making a fist. Hello. The training. Yes? Wow. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, well, Sagittarius, this has been thorough. Let's finish up with Alana. Look at all that. Got a bridge. Birds, birdseed. Mountains, strong vista. Yes? Above the clouds. Oh, that's so nice. We've got an ass right there. Okay. Yeah. Way to crop a painting. Okay. Becoming friends with yourself. Why not give up trying to punish, push, or force your body? When you push, resistance is created. Yeah. And you gain weight. And you eat the wrong foods. Right? And you stop moving. It's not defiance, it's natural law. This can make life harder than it needs to be. Instead, why not explore and find a way to relate to your body as a friend? Friendship is one of life's pleasures. And if you're friends with yourself, there is one of the core issues. So, what follows from that? If you're friends with yourself, right? But isn't that the truth? Isn't that the truth? What happened to you being friends with yourself? How's that relationship? There are multiple levels to this. There are at least 3 layers to this read. So your relationship with yourself, your relationship with your spirit friends. Yeah, okay. So we're overhauling. Because, again, getting yourself in the center of that circle and being that leader, that spiritual leader. And you needed to be certain about actually... See that 6 of Wands? That 6 of Wands, that guy and that horse is in the center of the circle. And then he knows. He knows that the 7's coming. He knows that the 9 is coming. Yes, these things need to succeed together. Okay. All right. That's it. That's it, Sagittarius. Whew, thank you for that. Much love. I'll be back soon.